Hello everybody, and welcome to Ancient Architects. Please subscribe now to get the latest ancient history news and independent research from around the world. In the study of ancient history, some ancient relics and monuments get more airtime than others. Due to the vast amounts of work carried out at locations such as the Giza Pyramids in Egypt, Stonehenge in England, Teotihuacan in Mexico, and Machu Picchu in Peru, a number of important discoveries do not get the mainstream attention they deserve. And this leads us to the mysterious golden hats of Europe. Described as 4 cone-shaped golden hats from the Bronze Age, each of the 4 hats was actually discovered in a different location, 3 in Germany and 1 in France. Although separated by space, the artefacts are all thought to originate from a similar time, the Bronze Age, sometime between 1400 and 800 BC. They all share a similar design, mimicking the look of a wizard's hat, but made with incredibly thin sheets of pure gold and designed with the most intricate patterns and symbols. Most researchers believe that the patterns on the hats are related to astronomy and agriculture, recording the changes in the moon, the seasons, the stars and the sun. The general consensus is that they were hats worn by important individuals, leaders of Bronze Age communities, possibly giving the wearer divine status. We are told there are only 4, which makes them incredibly rare discoveries, and they were found over the course of 160 years. Although from afar they all look very similar, and are made in a very similar way, with sheets of thin gold, their designs are all somewhat unique. The Golden Hat of Schifferstadt was discovered by a farmer in Schifferstadt, Germany in 1835. It is just short of 30 centimeters tall, the smallest of the 4 hats, and is divided into bands that run the full length of the artefact, decorated with discs, circles and ellipse shapes. Archaeologists date it to between 1400 and 1300 BC. The next to be discovered was the Avanton gold cone, the only one found in France, and was discovered just 9 years later. This is thought to be later in origin, between 1000 and 900 BC, and although missing its brim, evidence suggests that it did have one. It is taller than the Golden Hat of Schifferstadt, at 55 centimeters tall, but it too displays a banded design with circles and discs. The third to be found was the Golden Cone of Ezelsdorf-Buch, found in Germany in 1953. This is the tallest of the 4 examples, being 88 centimeters in height, and has a very similar design to the Schifferstadt hat. Experts believe it is the same age as the one found in France. Last but not least is the Berlin Gold Hat, named after the German city because it was bought by the museum. Again, it is believed to be a similar age to the previous one, dating to 1800 BC and was found in southern Germany. It stands 75 centimeters tall. These mysterious relics are still not understood, and experts have only been able to speculate as to their importance. It's amazing that they were found in different geographical locations, yet clearly share a number of characteristics. This must imply that one culture is behind them. Some researchers have said they are parts of suits of armour, but to me this doesn't work. Others say that the symbols are related to fertility, whilst others say we are looking at them upside down, and in actual fact they are ceremonial vases. Others say they were placed on wooden totems, not worn by cultural leaders, but then some believe they did belong to ancient wizards. No, not wizards like Gandalf the Grey or Dumbledore, but wise old men of ancient cultures with knowledge and wisdom. The reason for the wizard interpretation is that a lot of work has been done to compare the symbolism with astronomy and astrology, and many now believe the hats were used to track stars and the sun, which helped the Bronze Age communities to record key agricultural dates for planting and harvesting of crops. If true, the wearers of the hats would no doubt be leaders and elders of the specific ancient communities. These people would have held the key sacred knowledge, and they therefore were able to predict climatic conditions and seasons. This could have been seen as a divine power. According to Wilfried Mengin, director of Berlin Museum, the sun and moon symbols are a match for the Metonic cycle, that some say that Stonehenge also marked. This cycle was used by the Babylonians, ancient Chinese and Greeks, and its importance can be read widely across the internet. If a true hypothesis of the hats, it shows that the Bronze Age Europeans were far more advanced than we give them credit for, but why they recorded the information on golden hats is unclear. But what most people don't know, or at least do not link together, is that more golden hats have been discovered and some are much further afield in Ireland. The Comerford Crown is another late Bronze Age golden hat and was actually the first to be discovered, in a peat bog at Ben Eel in County Tipperary back in 1692. Although smaller than its German counterparts, the decoration and style is very similar, decorated in bands with circular motifs. It was purchased by Mr. Joseph Comerford, who took it to France, and soon after the object went missing. At a similar time, a second golden hat came out of the Bog of Cullen, also in County Tipperary, which is now known as the Golden Bog. Due to the vast amounts of golden artefacts unearthed from the bog, experts believe that this was an ancient ritual site. Sadly, back in 1744, the hat was purchased by a jeweller and it was melted down to produce 6 ounces of gold. A third golden hat, which is only recorded as being shaped like a shell, was found in County Limerick at Kilpeacon in 1921, but this too was melted down for gold bullion. The Comerford Crown, which thankfully was recorded in this fantastic picture, is strikingly similar to 3 more golden hats that were found in the northwest of the Iberian Peninsula. Again, these are smaller than the German hats, but were also made with thin sheets of gold and decorated in the same way with circles and bands. Back to Germany, and 8 more smaller golden hats were also discovered that date to the late Bronze Age, again all relatively similar in appearance to everything else we've seen so far. All of these examples are thought to be hats, as their diameters are all suitable to fit the average size of a human head. It is also believed they had a now decomposed lining to ensure comfort for the wearer. The similarities between the objects from Germany all the way to Ireland are incredibly intriguing. Does it indicate a Europe-wide nobility, or a band of wise priest-kings that scattered and shared knowledge throughout Europe? Are they crowns or objects that simply had a practical purpose? In Wales, Britain, back in 1833, the Golden Cape of Mould was also discovered and it dated back to the Bronze Age. It was also made of thin sheets of solid gold and decorated in a similar style to the hats. It was discovered in a Bronze Age burial mound called Fairies or Goblins Hill, placed onto the body of a person who was interred into a rough kist within the burial mound. Some say that the golden cape is linked to the gold hats, and that they are actually part of a ceremonial dress of these ancient priest-kings from the Bronze Age. Back in 2018, the channel Mystery History presented a hypothesis that the golden hats were actually relics of an advanced lost civilization that were reused by later cultures. They do seem to show advanced astronomical knowledge, and the craftsmanship is clearly incredibly detailed, and this idea should certainly be looked into further. To preserve the shape of the hats for such a large amount of time, it is believed that each one was filled with fine soil or ashes and was buried upright to keep its shape. I don't know if anybody has yet made the link, but the motifs found on ancient Neolithic carved stones sometimes share similar imagery to what we see on the golden hats. Examples of such carvings are seen at Noath and Newgrange in Ireland, as well as the Gavrinas Cave in Brittany, France. Maybe the rock art actually gives us a code that tells us how the hats were used. Who knows? For example, the Noath Curbstone 15 looks less like art and more of a blueprint of how something worked. Maybe they are just depicting astronomical phenomena, but what if they are recording something more intricate? Something we don't often associate with our Neolithic ancestors. If the hats and the rock art can be linked more definitely, this may help us to push the dates of the artefacts even further back, and the fact that both the hats and Stonehenge both seem to be encoding the same astronomical knowledge may mean that these hats are actually Neolithic in origin. Objects of high importance, I'm sure, were passed down from generation to generation in ancient times, and because the hats were carefully buried in the late Bronze Age, doesn't mean they were made in the same time period. We do have a fantastic record of archaeological finds across the world, but I do think that our understanding and interpretation of such finds is still lacking. We can all look at the facts and learn about what has been discovered, and we are all able to give our own interpretation, and hopefully together we can get further to the truth of our ancestors. As well as the images shown in this video, there are many more photos on the internet that you can peruse at your leisure. I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas on the golden hats of Europe, so please do leave a comment below. I've just launched a new YouTube channel called Space and Planet, which focuses on Earth and space science news, as well as independent scientific research from around the world. Please subscribe now to give my new channel a head start. I have placed a link in the description below. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Ancient Architects. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, please like the video, and please leave a comment below. Thank you very much.